I wanted to share with you something about my day today and how I felt, and just to share my experience because I'm sure I'm not the only one feeling like that, and maybe it would be also good for you to know that if you're having this experience, you're not the only one having it. And today I felt in general a bit more down and a bit more not like really myself. And then I realized that also a lot of it is coming from social media. So for the past few months, I was not really active on social media. I was barely posting anything. And I noticed that actually I felt way happier and my mental health was very good. And then recently I went back on social media because I wanted to restart doing this podcast episodes and just in general post more, grow my audience, create new things and enter that space. But what I noticed that the moment I entered back into the social media space, I was super energized and I was posting from a very good place, in the sense I really wanted to share what I was sharing, and I really wanted to reach people and help, and I didn't have this negative connotation with every post in terms of how many reactions I'm getting on that post, how many likes I got, and then comparing it with other people as well. But then after a few weeks, now that I've been more and more active on social media, I noticed that all of these negative things are starting to come back. I started looking at other people's profiles and comparing their results or their content to mine, and it starts bringing less and less joy the more you compare yourself to others, because you start finding faults in everything that you're doing, and the moment you're not getting the reaction that you thought you would get, it actually really upsets and frustrates you. And I started noticing this impact of all of this on my mental health, and I was thinking it's quite interesting because the way social media works is actually quite unnatural in terms of it's tapping into the behaviors that are in our brain, like the dopamine production mechanism and stuff like that, but they're not really natural. That's why they almost cause this circuitry in our brain to not work properly, and can cause unhappiness and other negative emotions as well. Because otherwise, in our day-to-day life, we wouldn't be exposed to everything that everyone is doing all over the world. That would just not be possible. So if you are also noticing that at times you're feeling a bit more down, or you start noticing that you are comparing yourselves to others, just check in with your social media patterns in terms of how much time are you actually spending on social media. And maybe if you just take a pause or a break for a day or two, or even for longer, does it have a positive impact on on you? And I'm not saying that here I have all the answers. I'm just saying that that's something that I realized, and the pattern that I started noticing. And I do know that taking a pause from social media always helps, even if it is for a day, even if it is for a few hours of the day when you don't go on social media. And just something that I plan to implement in the future as well, having some kind of systems and processes in place that I follow to not let my brain tap into those negative patterns. So for example, one of the negative things that I usually do is whenever I post something, then I start checking how the post is performing every 2 seconds after I've posted it, and I can do it for like an hour, just like checking it, and I feel like it's not really serving me, because sometimes it either will give me this huge dopamine rush if it's doing well, or it will give me actually this feeling of sadness and inadequacy if it's not doing well. But actually it's not useful, because it's not like by refreshing the post I'll bring any additional value to the people. So something that I will be working on the processes that I can implement to enable me to still create and share things on social media without stepping into those negative patterns. So if you're feeling a bit down, you're not alone. Maybe it's just the social media. Check in with yourself on that, and I'll keep you posted with the things that I implement and how they actually work for me, if they do work. when I actually do it in a later stage. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. I hope you did enjoy it, and I hope you enjoyed this virtual hug, that we're not alone in the social media world. Social media could be a beautiful thing, but at the same time, we need to be careful. Thank you so much for watching, listening, and I see you in the next episode tomorrow.